welcome to another Zoom interview series with Matt and Jennifer, but substituting in for Matt is our team member, Ryan. Today we are with Cliff and Frios. Gourmet Pops, love them. I've tried them personally. They're awesome. And as a teaser, we have a whole new model. You can be up and running in what, less than 30 days. Is that correct, Cliff? All right, well,
Absolutely.
I'll let him take it from here, but welcome, Cliff. Thank you for joining us. And if you don't care, just to tell us a little bit about yourself and Frios Gourmet Pops.
Well, thanks so much. I really appreciate this and really excited to kind of get into the details of how we've changed our franchise model and how, we've decreased that barrier to entry for so many people. And that's been through the help of just listening to our franchisees, to brokers and everyone else saying, hey, this is it. And once we've changed it, we've already seen immediate impact. So, quickly, Frios Gourmet Pops is we sell happiness for a living. We sell gourmet popsicles that we make in our manufacturing facility with amazing flavors, from blueberry cheesecake to chocolate dipped cold brew, which is my favorite right now. It's amazing. We've got strawberry mango. We've got the perennial favorite of all time is cookies and cream, and which now number 2 in line is, thank God I lost a serious game of paper, rock, scissors to my son like 3 years ago. And he said, Dad, go make blue raspberry. We did, and now it's our number 2 flavor. So if that doesn't speak happiness and fun, like that's just who we are. And that's just at the core of our business, as where innovation and creation comes from. We never know. So it's exciting to be something that we're just spreading happiness. Doesn't matter what kind of day you're having. You just know you're going out into your community and you're putting smiles on people's faces. Like the worst thing that could happen is a kid drops the popsicle and you give them a new one free of charge and they got to smile again. So it's awesome when we get to do that across the country. And so, yeah, that's just, I was a franchisee for 8 months before I took over the business. And so I was franchisee to franchisor story. And here we are with over 100 locations now. We started out brick and mortar when I bought the business. Then we went to mobile, and now we've come to this new model that we have that gives more people flexibility. So you can ask any question you want, or I can go into details, and this is your floor. I'll answer any question I can have.
Well, before we get into the new models, some of the key points that I wanted to point out. It's a very affordable investment. You can keep your job, right? You don't have to be all in and quit your job. But talk a little bit about the wholesale opportunity outside of just having this mobile event-based food option.
Thanks for bringing that up out of the gates. That's our biggest competitive advantage, is that we have that we always are going to get lumped into a food truck, but we are not a food truck business. We are an ice cream truck. That's completely different, because if you're a food truck, you have to have the 3 compartment sinks. You have to have a grease trap. You have to have all these different things inside of your truck, vehicle, whatever it is, that we don't have to have, because all of our product is pre-packaged for all of our franchisees. So they're just selling a product. They're not, even though it is food, they don't have the food regulations as they do in their city and municipality. So it's a lot easier to deal with. And there's no food loss that, the food trucks have to have. And then that being said, if you're in a food truck, you have to be there making the product. If it's shaved ice, if it's whatever it is, if it's drinks, if it's donuts, whatever it may be out there, you got to be there and make it. Not with Frios.
Right.
We have that competitive advantage that you can wholesale. I just dropped off 12 cases of pops to a concession stand. It's where my sons play and all that kind of stuff. We don't have to work there. So we have foot soldiers all across our territories, because if it's a country club, if it's a resort, if it's a brewery, if it's a restaurant that wants to make what we call poptails, so you put popsicles and cocktails, our strawberry mango inside of a margarita, amazing. They sell really well, by the way, for a lot of bars.
Well, okay.
And so that's how we have that multiple revenue stream, that you don't always have to be there working. you can have all of those wholesale accounts in your territory, which is kind of like you call your mailbox money. You set it out there, you forget about it, and then you get paid. So huge competitive advantage. And I'd be remiss if I did not mention the fact that we just launched protein pop. So we just launched a brand new line this past year, Frios Plus. And so what does that mean? So we're going to be able to have Frios Plus, and we started out with protein. Exciting. Your first thought process is probably, oh, this is great for gyms and everything else. I did not create this line, or let me back that up. We did not create this line because of the gyms. We created it for the elderly. My grandmother is 90 years old. Her doctor is always saying, hey, you need more protein. You got to have more protein. So what do we give the elderly? They need protein. They're not going to eat chicken and everything all day, but they can be a kid again by having a protein pop by Frios. It's got 15 to 17 grams of protein in there, and it just makes them feel like a little kid again.
Sign me up for that.
Awesome. Yeah.
I definitely need some of those. We have picky eaters. I'll feed that to her every morning if I have to.
Look, my children, every once in a while, they're like, you can't have a pop. Yes, you can have a Frios in the morning because you're eating the protein version of it. So it's great. We instantly become the most popular house on the street. I've had kids knock on our door. My kids aren't even home. They're like, oh, we just want a Frios. Like, got it. Duly noted. So, yeah, but it's fun. I love it.
Good deal. I was wondering about the margins. Obviously you sell for, is it $5 a pop, right? So
yeah,
what are we looking at on what do we buy it for? Traditional wholesale, I think is, did I say $2 to $2.50? So what are we buying it for if you're a franchisee?
Yeah, so franchisees buy them on average anywhere from probably around $1.35, $1.40, somewhere in there. Most of them are wholesaling for $2.50, $3, and then retail is anywhere from $5 to up to, we've seen as up as high as $7 on retail. So great margins inside of there. And again, you're not making anything, so it's pretty cut and dry.
Yeah.
Give us a little bit about the investment, and then I want to hear about this new model.
Yeah, so we're anywhere from about $60,000 to $100,000, round numbers there. It's just all according to what kind of a down payment you're putting on your van, if you want the van, or are you paying for it all up front. So there's that high volatility of the range there of what your startup costs are going to be. But kind of getting into our new model, goes back to what you said. We have a lot of people that don't want to leave their W-2, can't leave their ability to leave that W-2 job yet. And that's fine. That's where we found that cost of entry was too high for our franchise or potential candidates. Was like, I'm just not going to be in the van utilizing it and that carrying cost of the van and insurance and everything else, because I still need my W-2. I want to grow into that. That's where I want to be year 2, year 3. I want to get that van. So I said, that's it. Like, talking to so many people now, they love our business. They want to be a part of it, but it's like trying to justify if they're going to do this part-time to start and grow into being very successful, multi-unit, whatever it is. That's it. So now we've decreased their carrying costs. They no longer have to have in the van's probably close to $100,000, and there's carrying cost of payments and all that and insurance. They don't have to have that anymore. Now all they have to have is a minimum of 3 carts. The carts hold almost as much as one cart holds almost as much as the van does. So it still can make you tons of revenue. It's a beast of a freezer. It's amazing. It's portable. You can move it around to multiple events. And what does that allow you to do too? Peak season, our franchisees, you can be at 5 different locations at one time. Like, that's where you got to like figure out how to deploy. So with having multiple carts out there, so now they don't have to worry about the van payment and all this kind of stuff going into wintertime and going to slow season. But now they can keep that W-2. They don't have all the carrying costs. They have their multiple carts. They can go out and then build it up and then leave that W-2. And so now that we've gone out and repitched ourselves to, old candidates, and everyone's like, oh my God, this is amazing. We had a candidate, actually, she started crying. She's like, I just couldn't get past like the van and all this kind of stuff and everything else. She's like, I just wanted to be a part of your brand so much. And so like that's when we knew we were doing something right, and it's going to resonate with so many more people. And we also have that mid-tier. We're launching a trailer as well, so it's in that $40,000 to $50,000 range according to customizations. So now it's, where do you want to be? Like, we know where your goals are. If you, we have some that are joining our franchise, they're like, I want the van day one. Like, we're leaving our W-2 day one. We want to get the van because we know what it's an asset, not a liability. So that's the biggest thing. We're super excited about this change. We know our franchisees are going to be very successful doing this in a timeline that they want, because then once they get to year 2, they're like, aha, this is why I need the van. And then they can grow their business.
Yeah, I love it, man. You know, I think especially what you mentioned earlier about not having to make the product. I mean, that means you can get, you know, teenagers. This could be their first job is handing out pops. I mean, nothing against teenagers. It could be low level employees, entry level pay to be able to hand out those pops. So I love that, man. And especially, I think with 3 carts, you can be 3 different locations. You're not just stuck to that van. I think it's genius. I love it.
I got a couple stories. Sorry, I get excited about what I'm
Yeah.
talking about. Frios, obviously, it's my brand's my baby. But no, I have so many of my candidates, especially I think when a lot of people, and we just check so many boxes. I had a franchisee post today. It's like he wrote out all these different things of why he joined Frios. It was the flexibility, and one of the first things he pointed out was that he can do this business with his kids. So I talked about this often. We're trying to get more behind, is like, so many people buy a business for their kids, but this is a business you can do with your kids. It's a
I love
complete
that.
difference of, if you're a food truck, you don't want to maybe get them around the grease or whatever it may be, or machines, but they can easily understand the economics behind this business. You bought it for X, you sell it for Y, there's your margin. Like, it's not like, oh, here's our food costs, ingredients, all this kind of stuff. So there's so many people that come into our brand because, like, I can do this with my kids. My kids are going to enjoy growing this business with me. And we get pictures all the time. It's like, they love going out there, and the kids get tips. Is like, it gets great tips. I had a when I still am a franchisee, but I'll never forget. This is when I was a franchisee, not a franchisor at the time. And I showed up to this football game I had this high schooler working at. And we were selling the pops for $4 at the time. And this girl was buying a pop, and I just happened to be there with my son, and gave the guy or the high schooler $50 to buy a pop. And he's like, okay, well, here's your pop. He's starting to get the change out. And she's like, no, don't worry about it. My dad doesn't care. That high schooler looked at me and said, Mr. Cliff, I will work this event every single time. Like, I got it locked in. So it's just like, it was a fun story. So I was like, yeah, those high schoolers love it and everything like that. I mean, that was a one-off, and I just happened to be there, but it's just like, those high schoolers love to be involved in it as well. So, and the
Awesome.
kids.
Yeah, I think again, it's very simple, right? It's one product. It's as in one SKU. It's definitely, I mean, definitely different SKUs, but
Yeah.
product, the same price. It's very simple to run. I mean, and so being able to, you don't have to always be there and overseeing them. I mean, it's simple 1-for-1 trade. It's very easy. I love it.
I say it all the time. I said, this is probably the simplest business you could ever run, but it still requires hard work. We never want anyone to be fooled in that this is still not going to be a lot of hard work. You are an entrepreneur growing your business. There are going to be really good days and really bad days. That is entrepreneurship. And that's the beauty of coming into franchising. But it's also the beauty of what we offer, is the simplicity and the flexibility that, if your child has a recital, you're not begging to take off work or whatever it is for a couple of hours. Guess what? Have somebody else go work that event, or just go do it, and whatever, so it's amazing that we get to have that flexibility, because family is the core of our business, and also giving back to that community. So how that just resonates with everyone. Our avatar is everyone. We've got people that are, just late in their 20s that want to go into business for themselves, but don't have the resources to go buy hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars for the stuff. And we have people that are semi-retired. We have middle of the road people in their 40s and everything else that just say, hey, I want to do this business with my kids. So our avatar is like, can you check the box? Do you want to have happiness in your community? Do you want to have fun and simplicity of a job?
Tell me a little bit about day
So-
one. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jennifer.
Well, what I was gonna say is, so part of the franchise, what, can you talk a little bit about the support you give your franchisees, and then also about your royalty, which is another amazing aspect of this model?
Yeah, so our franchisees, we're actually super excited. We're in the launch process now. We just launched this whole new complete CRM program for them. So now our support is even far greater than what we already were making sales templates and marketing templates so they could put out. But now with this new CRM system, we're able to push that content out that we create for them. So if it's marketing flyers, if it's content, if it's sales script, if it's emails, everything they need to be successful, we give them. All we want them doing is picking up the phone, calling, landing, and working the events. We're going to help them do everything else. We give them a lead list. As soon as they sign on, we give them a lead list of over 100 people to communicate with, be it churches, schools, events that are already there. We give them lead lists to say, all right, hit the ground running. But I tell everybody, it's like, you already got your leads. They're in your phone. They're your friends, your family. Call them and tell them what you do. And that's the easiest way to get started. And then to the royalty, it's when I started this business, I understood the fact that we were a high cash business and everything. I was like, yeah, I don't know what people are doing, but it's just something's not resonating with these numbers that I'm seeing. You know, when I took over, I said, you know what? We're not going to punish your success. Flat royalty. Sell it. So we came up with this number that said, okay, this would be somewhere around a 5% for an average unit volume for somebody. And the people that are more successful, that push and grow and do everything else, that's just more money going in their pocket. And the people that are underperforming, they need to push themselves to get to a point where they are performing at a level that would be at, it's a net neutral for them. But we say, we just don't punish your success. It's flat royalty. They don't know. I mean, they don't have to worry about the volatility in it. What am I paying this month? They just know exactly what's coming out every single month, and they love it.
What, 125? What is it?
125 a week.
It's, there are not very many franchisors out there that offer flat royalty models, so that alone is a huge benefit. And then you said 5% roughly. That's, I mean, a typical franchise royalty is what, 8 to even, I've even been seeing 10 and 12%. So I love your enthusiasm. Your passion just pours out of you. I know that just from working with you.
I'm sorry for that. I get excited.
No, I love it. The support, the model, the startup cost. What am I missing? Ryan, do you have any other questions?
No, I think we hit it. My question was day one in a franchise, the life of the franchise, like how do I get my first event? How do I, in the meantime, like in my head, how do I market this to get people to sign on? I assume you guys have those pamphlets, those Facebook templates, stuff like that for them.
Yeah, so all that, we give them all their digital content of how to put Facebook ads out there and everything else. But the thing that sells it the most every single time, we say when you're starting up, you get these 4 flavors. You get our little to-go bags. You put one of those and you go out into the community and you introduce yourself by saying, hey, just try this. This is who we are. And I bought this entire company because of 1 key lime pie pop. It changed my life. That's how good they are. It made me buy a company. So we have so many franchisees, like I just had to have this back where I went to Texas. I went somewhere and I tried one. I just had to have it back in my community because they were so much fun and great product and everything. So it's really just word of mouth. And people, once they try it, they're like, I got to have this. And it's the quickest thing is your friends, family, the people you know, your insular network, they're going to want to be a part of this immediately. And so then at that point is just, okay, here comes the marketing team helping you out. Here comes all the ad campaigns and the give out and the marketing that just, then it kind of snowballs from there. But yeah, it's like anything. Your first year, you got to guerrilla marketing. You got to go out there. You got to hit the road. You got to do all those things. And then once more people start trying the product, then you get more and more calls coming your way.
Last question I had was on the, I lost it. Oh, shoot. Okay. No,
I think you're about to say you want to be a franchisee now. I think that's what you're about to say. I think that's what you're about to say. But yeah, I will say, no, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jennifer.
No, go.
I'll say, and the one thing that's key that so many people miss is that we resonate. Everyone thinks that, oh, you're a kid business. You're a kid business. We're a kid-friendly business, but adults love us almost more than kids do. Like if I had to really, and we're trying to pull that data in, I'd almost say it's 50-50, probably 60-40 kids, adults, but we do just as many adult events at corporations and job sites. We just posted a picture the other day. There was a line of like 8 or 10 guys that were in the picture. They were all in their hard hats and their coveralls. Like they were like these scruffy guys, but yet they were eating Frios. Like it makes you feel like a kid again. Like that's as simple as it put. I always tell the story, and I haven't told in a long time, but it's like we were always focused on selling the product, great flavors, all this kind of stuff. But I was finishing up a run one day years ago, and Miss Ruth, who was my neighbor at the time, she had just turned 90, and we gave her some pops for her birthday. And my kids ran them over, all this kind of stuff. And I was finishing up my run. She's like, Cliff, those pops you gave me yesterday made me feel like a little girl again. And I was like, that's it. Like it's not about the pops. We have amazing flavors. It's about what makes you feel like inside. It's like that. It's that moment of, the dad coming home from work, stressed out. He just loosens that tie just a little bit and enjoying a Frios with the kids, whatever it is, or the mom like stressed out, whatever it may be. They're like, hey, it's like, it takes away the stress. You forget about what's going on in the world and you enjoy a Frios. And that's simply what we are. We sell happiness.
Yeah, I remembered what question I was going to ask. Wholesaling, does it have to be in your territory?
Yeah, so wholesale has to be in your territory because we say, what if outside your territory, you set up a wholesale account, it becomes your biggest cash cow account. And all of a sudden someone moves in and you have to give them that account. So we say on permission basis, you can do events outside of your territory. You can't do wholesale outside of your territory.
That's
Okay.
Because
makes sense.
It's just one of those things where I've had franchisees get really mad at me because it's like, oh, well, I had this account and somebody's moving in. Well, I was like, you could have bought that territory if it was such a large account or whatever it is. Well, no, so it's just like,
No,
so that's when we shut it down. It's like events one time, yes, wholesale, no.
Yeah, I'm from Indiana, and I have a buddy who owns 2 lake restaurants, and lakes in the summertime are popping. And I just thought that'd be a great opportunity there. But obviously that it wouldn't work, but that's okay.
Well, how big are the territories, Cliff?
150,000 people. Zip code based, contiguous zip codes. We got an unbelievable mapping service that will color code and highlight, hey, this is great for this area, that area, all this kind of stuff. And we develop a really great territory for them. A lot of people they join just because when they see our territory mapping call, they're like, this is amazing. And all of a sudden we do some fancy stuff with it, shows them how many accounts they could already have. They're like, okay, this is it. I love it. It's like,
Can you explain pop drop before we go?
Like what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, pop drop. It's just, it is what it says. Like if I come to your office or whatever, and I'm interested in doing an event for you, we're gonna do a little pop drop at your office. Say, hey, why don't you just try these? Or, or the another thing that's the
I thought it was
side.
drop shipping. I'm sorry.
No. The sales side is also we do pop drops for people that just say, hey, I need some pops for my house. Okay, so we'll set it up, and our franchisees, they can order on their sites and all that kind of stuff they individually have, and then I can go drop off 10 pops at your house.
Okay, gotcha. Cool.
Well, listen, if you have any interest or you want to know if your territory is available, you can text Matt 270-215-2844, and we'll get with Cliff to get you connected. If you have other questions, just let us know. But otherwise, it's one of my favorite brands. Thank you for taking the time, Cliff, and we're looking forward to working with you more often.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thanks.
Hey, thanks for watching our interview.
Hey, thank you so much. There's a lot of opportunities out there. Be sure to check out the other videos and let us know if we can help.